And so, as I was saying, I mean, we've been looking forward to this day. I mean, for months as we first started this ministry. And this is a teaching organization, so all along the way we've been kind of leaving breadcrumbs so that when we did get to this day to kind of teach it. Can y'all see that?
Yes, we can see it. It's blurry, but we can see it.
That's Ash's.
Yeah. So the first thing, and you know we're analytical folks over here, so we already have it in order of operations. So the first thing you see here is a state name search. So whatever state that you're in, the first things first is to do a state name search. But that presupposes something. That presupposes a few things that we got to deal with. One thing that it presupposes is that you've already thought about what the name of your nonprofit would be. And this is really exciting to me. I mean, I love the idea of coming up with names, and I get folks to help, and I certainly pray about it. And it's just a really fun part of starting a business and starting a nonprofit is developing the name. Along with developing the name is developing the mission. Why are you starting? What is your big why? Why are you starting your nonprofit? And really, that's the only two things, like at the beginning, it's just very simple. It's just, you just need to know why you're starting and what is the name going to be. So that takes a lot of the pressure off. I know a lot of the reason why we don't begin businesses and we don't begin nonprofits is just the fear of all of the things that we have to do to start something like that. And I just want to give you some liberty today and tell you, don't worry about the things to come. The biggest thing that you have to worry about is why and what is the name. The beautiful part about the why is that we're all creatures of the Creator. And that's whether we're Christians or not. We're all creatures of the Creator. And I love that name, Creator. That means that the being that we worship is creative. So because of this, the why is all around you all the time. You've gotten that inkling that you need to perhaps start a business, perhaps start a nonprofit. It lives with you. So you already kind of have the why. It's just a matter of taking out a pad or email or writing it on a electronic notepad or something like that. But the why is all around you. So just kind of commend that to paper. Now, once you have the name and once you have the why, now we can start getting into the operations of it. First things first is the state name search. Now, let me be very practical here. And let's say we wanted to do a Texas nonprofit startup. Can y'all see this Google search?
Yes.
Now you see how, so whatever state you're in, we got our we got our beautiful cousin Nikki on, and Nikki lives in Louisiana, so it'll be the same thing for you, Nikki. It'll just be Louisiana nonprofit startup. And oh, by the way, if it was for a business, it would be Texas business startup or Louisiana business startup. You know, whatever that state is, you got to start at the state level first because you have to do a name search. But what I want you to see is that when you type in this nonprofit startup, do you see how the first thing, I mean, they pay for these companies pay so that they come up first. You got, this company, you got this company. Take this note, y'all. When you're starting a nonprofit and when you're starting a business, the first thing that you want to look for is something with a .org in the back of it. So all of these .coms, I mean, we're in business. We're all pro-business, but you don't have to pay to start a nonprofit. And all of these companies that first come up will give you the impression that you should pay them to start this nonprofit. I'm here to tell you, you do not need to pay for this. You've already paid for it by being a tax-paying citizen. So find the .org. Okay. So here you go. Or in this case, state of Texas has a sos.state.tex. So here you go, nonprofit organizations and the Texas Secretary of State. I'm gonna hit that, and then it kind of takes you to this landing page. Now you all know, I mean, see these governmental landing pages, and you see how it's got this nonprofit kind of org. It's always gonna have some kind of org in the exchange. The other thing is, I don't know how to say it, Queenie, like these government sites just aren't going to be slick. Like they're going to look bureaucratic like this. You see what I'm saying, y'all? Like see, there's like wall to wall words and all this legalese type of, that should give you some solace to know, okay, I'm on it. That's what you want. I want it to look like boring. I want it to look boring, like I just entered into my post office or something, because that's basically what you did. You're into government world. All right, now let me snap over here. And so the first thing you want to do is do what's called a name search. So you come in here and you do this SOS Direct Business Searches and Formations. You follow me? Y'all still there?
Yes.
All right, cool. And then you have this SOS Direct. Here in Texas, that stands for Secretary of State Direct. Then you enter the site, and then you'll probably have, if you haven't done this already, you'll have to establish your own username and password and all this. All right, now let me snap out of this because I don't want to have to already kind of have it easily. I just wanted y'all to see that that's how it looks on the website. Now, once you do your name search, then you're going to type in whatever name that you've dreamed of for your organization. By the way, it's the same if you were starting at this point, whether you're starting a nonprofit or whether you're starting a business, there's no difference. The name search is still the same. You got to see if the entity's name is already out there. All right, so you kind of see here, Lighthouse of Praise Ministries, Lighthouse Prison Ministry. So there's a bunch of different lighthouses, but there is no Lighthouse Marriage Ministries. So it has to be exactly that. So don't be discouraged if there's someone else that has one or two of the words in the name that you're searching. It has to be exactly the name. All right? When you do the name search, this name search is, I think the name search is like $1 or something like that. Yeah, I put it on here so we remember. The name search is just $1. So, all right. Okay, now let me come back out here. So that's the first thing is the name search, okay? Next, now with this name in hand, now that you have your name, now, did I come all the way out of that? Going too fast. All right, now that you have the name, now you go for your EIN number. So that's your employee identification number. And so basically you're going to be going back and forth with state government, federal government, state government, federal government. You're going to have to do both of them in tandem. The feds are the ones that give an EIN number, a federal employee identification number. So for that, we go back to Google, and then on Google it's EIN number IRS, something like that, right? Now notice again how you have all of these companies. They'll help you get an EIN number, and the EIN number is so easy. Please do not pay for this. You do not have to pay for an EIN number. Again, it's something you've already paid for. It's a benefit of being a U.S. citizen. So you find your, in this case, .gov, IRS.gov, apply for it, and oh my goodness, you've entered into, you're into a federal site. I mean, look at this site. Lord, it's like wall-to-wall words, and yeah. Anyway,
they got it in every language too.
Yeah, I got it every language for you, and so you have it all here. Determine your eligibility, blah blah blah, and then you can apply online here. Once you do that, you're going to get this EIN number and a confirmation letter. And this happens, like this EIN number part happens like within 24 hours. It's really quick. And this is the letter that you're going to get back, Department of Treasury, such and such, date of the notice, and your EIN number. All right. Very practical, y'all. By then, perhaps your state name filer would come back. So even though you started asking for that state name filing, maybe even before the EIN number, that EIN number is actually going to come first, and then the state filing comes a little bit later. Here's a briefcase of the name file. I just wanted to kind of show y'all some of the ins and outs of it. So you see here on March 14th, we went ahead and got it processed, and then it was actually received, and then you're just waiting. I mean, there's nothing more you can do. Then after a while, you'll get your name search. So you got both of those things cooking, right? You got the name search at the state level, and then you got the EIN number at the what level? What level is the EIN number, y'all?
Federal.
Federal. Thank you. Thank you. That's federal level. Now, with this in hand, now you can go for your state nonprofit corporation formation. Again, it's that same Secretary of State site. I won't go back to it, but it's that same site that you go to, and you're going to do what's called, hold on, that's one of them. Here. Got your step-by-steps here. So you have that same Secretary of State. I was looking at it earlier.
Carlos and Yvonne, for the actual search for the Secretary of State, do you have to create a login?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But once you do it, Tammy, like, so you're in like Flynn for everything.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So yeah, no problem. Yeah, so once you set up that username and ID for the name search, now that's going to be your user ID and login for all the other business that you have to transact with the Secretary of State. So it's kind of a good entry point, because it's the easiest thing that you're going to do But you'll see here, this isn't so hard. So now you're going to actually get into the nuts and bolts of forming your nonprofit at the state level first. So now you do there's a drop down here. Okay, what type of organization are you going to start? Okay, I'm going to start a domestic nonprofit corporation. That's the way that they're all nonprofits are set up as corporations in the state of Texas. So it's not like when you're setting up a business, Tammy, for instance, you'll have the choice. Okay, is it a sole proprietorship? Is it an LLC? Is it a corporation? But for nonprofit, you only have one pick, domestic nonprofit corp. All right, then you make that pick. Then you're going for your certificate of formation. That's the next drop down. Make that click. Then you do your Lighthouse Marriage Ministries. But remember, now since you've already done your name search, you don't have to do this name availability search. You already know that it's available because you've already done that step. That's why we put that step first, so you don't get hung up here. Nikki, I don't know if you're talking to us, but anyway.
No, I'm sorry. I'm actually explaining what you're talking about to Kevin.
Okay. No problem. Beautiful. All right, so then you come to the rudimentary. You know, you guys know how to fill out mailing address and all that. All right, then you come to Article 3. So basically what you're doing here is you're literally filling out your articles, what's called your Articles of Incorporation, is a legal term for how is your business set up? What makes your business a business? And it's coaching you step by step through how to create them. So you pick this, a management of the affairs of the corporation. Then you got to put your verbiage. Why? So remember when we said before, when you're sitting there in your dream state, you got to know the why. Why are you going to establish this organization? And remember I said before, you need to commit that to a journal, to something, to an iPad, something. So now when you come here to your organizational structure, now you have some things to write on. So you have this purpose. The purpose of Lighthouse Marriage Ministries is the elimination of darkness in its many forms, and so on and so on. So that's the purpose of your organization, your organizational structure and purpose. You see that, y'all? Because this is going to follow, this organization structure and purpose is going to follow with your corporation until you make a change. So this is the reason why you're telling the state of Texas, the reason why we're set up is to do this. Got it? What you got on that, Queen?
No, I mean, it's basically your overarching umbrella. So pretty much any activity that the organization does from that point, you should basically have line of sight to this purpose. Like it should fall in line with the purpose of your organization. You should have that line of sight as you think about what activities that your organization is going to pursue over the next months, years. It should all tie back to this purpose.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like that line of sight. And so you don't want it to be narrow, right? You want to give it room to grow. So that's why we said the purpose of Lighthouse Ministry is the elimination of darkness. You see how that gives us room to grow. When you're just starting your organization, you know, I don't think you want to be like, you know, the purpose of XYZ ministry is to hand out food on every second Saturday at this look. I mean, you don't know what it's going to grow, what it's going to turn into. So give yourself some room to grow. Think wide, think very high level and wide here. Okay. And if you need help, everything, y'all, everything that we went through to establish this, we are an open book. Give us a call. Please don't pay anybody to do this part of your business or part of your nonprofit setup. This is, we're here to help with this. You don't have to pay anybody for this. Okay. Supplemental provisions, don't need to sign that. That's good to have. Everything else is, so we set up, this is kind of different for us, right? So we set up as the agent for the organization. So the agent is who's going to represent the organization. We set it up as our company, the novel company. And we did that on purpose because the novel company, our company actually is fitting the bill until we're able to do better. Well, let me say it differently. To always have a backstop of a cash flow, we set up the novel company as the agent. The other reason why we set up, in this case, a company as an agent is the ongoing concern of a company will be, I'm going to speak life into our company, will be longer than the life of one person. So if you have an opportunity to put, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But if you have an opportunity to put something that's more long lasting here as the agent, then I guess the advice here is to do so. Nothing wrong though, however, with putting a name here. I will say this though about who you assign as the organizer and the agent. Because I've looked at some documents of nonprofits that's been around for years, and they still have like the agent as as one of the leaders that's not even alive anymore. So this is something that, you got to keep looking at, because this is the person that if the government has to get in touch with your organization, this is the person that they're going to reach out to. So pretty important. Then you got to sign it, signature of organizers, what that was. And then when you're done, you actually get the certificate of formation for your nonprofit corporation. So this is a tangible legal document that you have that you can use to go and conduct other forms of business. This is a very happy day in the life of a business startup once you have your articles of incorporation, your certificate of filing. All right. So this is what all of that looks like. And then what you want is a transcript from them that you received it. So you see how, this stuff, it takes time. It's not that part. This part isn't overnight. That's why you want to get all this stuff started as quickly as possible. So you see here, corporation received in June or something like that. All right. And then that takes some time to get that done. But once you're done, you're going to get your official document that looks like this, your certificate of formation for your nonprofit corporation and your articles and so on and so forth. I won't go down with this, but this is a legal document that you can use now. Concurrent with filing with the state, you should start having your first board meeting. So you can see here where we had our initial board meeting not long after we did the filing, in that same month anyway, in June. And then you should develop a cadence of when you're going to have your board meetings. We have ours monthly at the end of every month. You could do them quarterly. I wouldn't recommend getting any further out than quarterly, but so there you have that. Okay. So now so by way of summary, you've done your name search, you've filed for and gotten your EIN number, you've gone through the name filing with the Secretary of State if you're in Texas. You have established yourself as a nonprofit corporation and formed and looking forward to receiving your articles of incorporation from the state. You've started to have at least your initial board meeting. Now, once you've done all that, now you're set up to go to the bank. None of that, you can't get a bank account without the articles of incorporation from the state. You can't get a bank account without at least one board meeting, having proof of having at least one board meeting. You can't get a bank account without an EIN number. So you see how all of this was in order so that we can, now when we go to the bank, we have all of our documents in order. Okay? Now we can go for formation of the 501c3. Now, the 501c3 is, again, a federal determination. It's a federal determination. And again, when you go out to Google, be very careful here, y'all. Again, so now you want to do 501c3 federal. And boy, that's something. That's good. I'm kind of glad. It looks like IRS comes up first there. You can see a lot of these we already have the hyperlink to. So you're going to come to a landing page like this, 501c3. I got to tell you, what the government's done a great job here. There's interactive training. There's documents that you can read. So they really want us to be educated on what it means to start a 501c3 and what that entails. Once you go through the training, then they give you an application, a step-by-step process of how to do this application. Types of exempt organizations, publications. So they really want you to understand what you're going through as far as doing these 501c3s. Okay. And then you even, if you have trouble sleeping at night, you can even look at all these publications. But I guess what I want to say is there's enough information for everything that you need to do as far as understanding how to do these filings. All right. Let me come out of this page there. Then you're going to come to the Streamline Form 1023EZ, and I recommend the 1023EZ. Unless you have gross receipts more than $50,000, like just starting off with your nonprofit, you just go ahead and do the EZ. And it's going to take you step by step on how to fill out this 1023EZ form, which is how you apply for your 501c3 status. Okay. You got to have the name of the organization. You see why that was pertinent that you had that early on. And you got to list the name and titles. It was just Yvonne and I and Verl and Lisa to begin with. So that's who we listed for our contact persons. What type of organizational structure? Now we know that we're a corporation. That's all you can be in the state of Texas. Where's your state of incorporation? You see how to get the 501c3, you have to have all of this state level information. So that's why the state level stuff is first. We have to do that first, y'all. Then you keep going down. 501c3 requires your organization must limit your purpose to one or more exempt purposes within the section of 501c3. That's why you had to read all that information beforehand. Then here comes the why. Why are you even seeking to be an organization? Well, we're charitable, we're religious, and we're educational. All right. And I just want, I won't be exhaustive with each one of these, but this is just to kind of tell you that once you have your state house in order, let's say, it becomes very easy when you go to apply for the federal part. Okay? Keep going, and then you file that. Now, here again, remember we said before, I'm going to come out of here. Oh, maybe there's one more thing I can show you. Let's see if it's in here. All right, and then once you do all of that, oh, happy day. So that was in June. Then came up, dream, come up with your name, go for your EIN, do your name search, do your, go ahead and establish yourself with the state, the good state of Texas or the good state of wherever you're from, and then go for your federal 501c3. So there's a lot of preliminary work that you have to do before establishing the 501c3, but that preliminary work will set up a good foundation and a good baseline so that when you do get to the federal part, it's just easy breezy and it's just a matter of waiting for the feds. In this case, we really were blessed because I've heard that these things could take anywhere from 6 months to a year, but we ended up getting ours in a month. Okay. Any questions? What questions do you have for moi?
I don't have a question, but I just want to say that this was very well put together. It's always very fearful when you think about it, but when you look at it this way, it really makes it more comfortable. And I really appreciate you putting it to us in that way. Thank you so much.
Sweet of you.
Thank you, Ingrid.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. And that's the part. Look, I believe that each of us, I know that each of us has a God-given purpose. And many of us we're sitting on top, Ingrid, of a business. We're sitting on top of the next great nonprofit. And we just have to start. But in a lot of cases, we do not know how to start. So when I'm teaching correctly, it's taking all of the fear out. And at least you know that you have someone that's done it before and you have someone to come to if you get hung up on any of these pages. So that should give you some peace and some solace.
Brother Carlo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
You there, VB? Hey, man.
How you doing?
Hey,
Yeah,
Reverend.
just being listening, I set one up, but it was not a nonprofit. But I had my brother-in-law set one up that was a nonprofit, and tell them about some of the benefits. I mean, this is one that once you set this up, that they have for you.
Yeah, we thank you for that. The benefit of setting up, one of the benefits is you don't pay taxes. And so for instance, and organizations have programs already set up for nonprofits. So now we can go to Walmart and show our 501c3 letter, and then we establish an account with Walmart where every time we go to buy goods from there, we're not being taxed as an organization. That's a huge advantage, and it's one of the reasons we should be proud to be Americans. Man, this is one great thing about this land is that we're just very giving in this way, and so that's one thing. There's other organizations, and I'll give them a big plug. There's an organization called Canva, and they have, and and they're not the only ones, but there's organizations where they actually set up a portion of their business that, like, of course, they have they're in business, they have paid services, but then they also have, pro, they have different levels, right? So they may have like a pro service. So let me just talk about Canva. Canva is where you can go here. We're talking about benefits. Here, I'll share my screen on this one. All right, can y'all see this Canva screen?
Yes.
So Canva is where you have all kinds of templates for YouTube banners, and I mean, you can see what I've already looked for. So let's say if we want to do a Facebook cover for our ministry, you can come here and you can just look up, thousands and thousands of content. Now, if you look here, you see this little pro designation. It's whatever the cost is. I don't even know their cost structure, but there's a cost associated with it. But since we filed, Reverend Brown, to get our 501c3, Canva has a program where they ask, okay, what type of organization are you? What kind of nonprofit? And once you go through their process, they take these fees off for nonprofits. So we actually get this pro level service for free for being a nonprofit. So now we can come in here and create all of this content, all of this pro level content without incurring any cost. And then there's other organizations. There's accounting services that's for free. And then there's discounts that's afforded to 501c3s when you're buying materials, when you're going to Staples, when you're going to, there's just, the world just kind of opens up for nonprofit organizations because of the giving nature of a lot of businesses and a lot of government agencies. So that's why, we debated on whether or not we would file for the 501c3, but in the end, because of all of these tax breaks and all of these other company-sponsored benefits, we decided to go in for the 501c3, and we're happy we did.
I would say another major benefit is that you can apply for grants that are earmarked for 501c3s. Also, other businesses or just people in general may be more willing to donate to your organization because they can write it off on their taxes at the end of the year. So your inflow of cash could very well potentially increase over what you would have otherwise been able to earn. And that only will help you to be better able to serve the community if you can have an increased cash flow versus not organizing as a 501c3 and having more limited funding.
That's what
Yeah.
I was saying.
Yeah, thanks for that. And that, just piggybacking on that one, Queenie. So one thing that you have is it legitimizes your organization. It gives your organization credibility up to the federal level. So that's another benefit of, like, we all know our mission. We all know what we stand for. But this allows others, just by that designation, to understand the legitimacy of our organization.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Carlos, that's what happened to my brother-in-law's church. They was able to build the church. Actually was able to, the grant what Yvonne was talking about, they got enough grant money to tear the old church down and build. It wasn't a big church they built, it was a small church. They was able to tear the old church down, build a new one, and buy the property across the street by being a nonprofit, by the grant money.
Wonderful.
Right. So, so there's that. All right. Any more questions, y'all?
No questions. This is Tammy. Just wanted to make a statement. It is amazing how God aligns things and bring things to the forefront when you least expect it. I must say, I have been talking with my son, whose birthday is today. He made
Happy
14.
birthday!
Thank you. Good morning, Miss Yvonne and Mr. Carlos.
Hey,
Um,
Deshaun, happy birthday to you.
What's up, D?
it is so funny that now I must say I am not the person that um, is always consistent with getting on your call, so I apologize for that. But I love it when I do get on them and on time. And this morning, it really aligned with something I've been wanting to do with my son. So I immediately called him down here because I've always wanted to start a nonprofit for something that he really loves, and that is he really is into cars. Um, and I literally have sat down with my son, and we actually sat down and wrote everything out to, you know, um, what it would be, the mission, the intent. Because I said, hey, let's start a nonprofit and let's share this with other boys. And so we came up with a name. But I told him, I said, if I do this with you, I want it to have an educational component, which would be, as much as you love cars, I don't want you to just love the physical and what you see, but know how it operates, the engineering of it. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that I have a great networking group and resources that I could have, you know, um,
Absolutely.
educated in front of young boys.
Yeah.
So today you guys have definitely. I tried to go through and actually set up one, but I may have to call you guys after this. But that's my
Mm-hmm.
birthday gift to him. I want to start his own nonprofit for boys who love luxury cars, and the mission is to you know, um, I don't have it all the way together, but the mission is to present to underserved kids, um, just create a place for boys to, learn about cars and how they're made, and then also to expose to them by attending different car shows, so they can get excited about the physical, but also the business aspect of how a car has gotten started and all of that other good stuff. But you guys have definitely contributed to my birthday gift to my son.
Oh, wow. I think that's an awesome idea, and I look forward to seeing it come to fruition.
Are you gonna help
Yeah.
me?
That's right.
I need y'all help.
Yeah. Anytime, Tammy. You have to come over for dinner. We're making a combination
Okay.
501c3 and Scrabble night.
Oh yes, definitely.
All right. Any other comments, y'all? Thank you, Tammy.
Hello, cousins.
Hey,
Hey,
Miss
So,
cuz.
Nikki.
actually, it's not a question. It's also a comment. First of all, thank you so much. Thank you for everything. Carlos, we've been talking a lot lately about business and just getting started. To those of you that are on the line, my name is Kiana. Family name is Nikki. Me and my husband just uprooted our lifestyles and walked away from our corporate jobs and started our own trucking company. Um,
Woohoo!
Yay.
yes, and
Congratulations.
Yeah.
yes, thank you, thank you. Um, and we have no idea what we're doing. So, so this lesson right here is a blessing because we are just getting started and we are starting from scratch. God moves. He moves in mysterious ways. I mean, just like the other lady said, we're not consistent with being on the Bible study, but when I do get on, I'm always very excited once I leave. And today, when I thought it was just going to be, Bible study, it was the lesson for the blessing that we are getting started. So it's definitely, definitely appreciated. Yvonne, you said something, and I made Kevin send it to me in a text message, and the line was line of sight. Because what we do not want to do is have limitations. We want to start this from the bottom and just blow up. We have our boys, that are now almost 22 and 23 years old, and so we can't tell them how to start a business or to start a business if we're not starting a business. We can't, everything is lead by example. And once again, that came from my cousin Carlos. We can't tell our sons to start a business and yet we're working on somebody else's job. So again, I can go on and on with just saying thank you, but thank you all for everything.
Glory to God. Bless you, Nikki.
Thank you for calling in this morning. So good to see you, cuz.
Yeah. Yep, that's our beloved cousin Nikki. Nikki, he said, how are you so clear and how's that background noise so quiet?
Hey, that's the blue parrot, right?
That's that blue parrot. They don't know nothing about that parrot, Nikki.
They don't know nothing about it. I didn't know nothing about it.
Uncle Reggie.
I thought it was all about beats.
No, Uncle Reggie told me about that blue parrot about 10 years. All the truckers know about that blue parrot now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The headphones. That's professional driver headphones. The brand name of the company is Blue Parrot, and hey, they're the best for a reason. All right, so we're gonna shift gears, y'all. Thank you so much for the comment. Oh, go ahead. Somebody else say something.
I have one more statement.
Go ahead, Tam.
I just want to say thank you guys for being a blessing. Listening to Nikki's testimony, Nikki, I'm from New Orleans too. But I would tell you, Carlos and Yvonne, it's not just what you do, it's how you reach back and how you try to bring up others with you. I really love that about y'all. I really do.
Bless you.
Thank you, Tam.
Bless you, Tam. Glory to God.
Amen.
All right, here we go. We're gonna shift gears, y'all. Thank you so much. Again, our business meetings are open to the public. We're gonna put them on YouTube anyway. They're open to everybody. So you're welcome to stay, and you're also welcome to cut off if you don't want to hear, a board meeting. I understand, but that's what we're about to do. We're about to shift gears and go right into our monthly board meeting for